Yeah, welcome to everyone. So, welcome to today's session on Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon. I hope everyone is having a very good time. And welcome today for today's session on Azure monitoring on hybrid cloud. So, let's just get started. So, before we just get started, we have certain announcements to make. So, the SharePoint conference is now officially the Microsoft 365 collaboration conference, and they are holding a conference on the coming March 23rd to 25th, 2021 come the coming year. So I hope everyone get a chance to attend that. And before we begin, a big thanks to all our general sponsors who made sure that this event happens in the way we are seeing right now. So before we begin, let me just introduce myself. Myself, Arun. I'm currently working as a consultant in Microsoft. I'm currently based out of India. I started my career on 2014 with SharePoint Online Development, and I'm currently working for Azure and Office 365 modernization. So yeah, let's get started. So these are the current session takeaways. So first of all, we'll be seeing what is Azure Monitor as an overview. Then we'll go to the main four pillars of Azure monitoring, which is basically insights, analyze, visualize, and respond. And throughout the session, we'll be seeing some dive live demonstration on how we can set up this Azure monitoring in a better way, both in on-premise and online, so that we can get kind of a hybrid cloud scenario to begin with. So to begin start to having a alerting system or making sure monitoring your Azure resources is a very tedious task even for a highly skilled professional. So application deployed on Azure are usually very complex in nature and it is very difficult to maintain. But Azure has made sure that it becomes easy for the developers by providing a variety of tools that they can use to overcome the different challenges involved in monitoring their stack, helping them gain insight into different components of their application and troubleshooting issues whenever they occur. So the all purpose of today's session is not to give a complete overview of what Azure monitoring does, but to give some kind of introduction so that once you start using Azure monitoring in your nearby future, you will have some kind of path to and knowledge to take it forward. So as you can see, we usually follow the gradual adoption and maturity model, and Azure monitoring gives a big visibility to your existing on-premise and in online environment and the application. Then it also gives a big picture, and then it helps us to find an insight into your application so that you can find and fix problems. And once you have a visibility and an insight, then there is always a option for optimization where we can optimize existing resources. So what is Azure monitoring? So this is a core kind of a high level architecture of a Azure monitoring in Sensen. So at the center of the diagram, what we see here is a data stores for metrics and logs. So any data that an Azure monitor receives from any of the data sources are categorized into either metrics and logs. And on the left hand side are the data sources which actually generates the data which Azure monitor uses for metrics and logs. So as you could see, we can get data from an application, from an operating system, all the Azure resources and even custom sources. And once our monitoring solution has these metrics and logs, then it makes use of the following functions to give us a better results. So these are the five pillars of Azure monitoring, and they are insights, analyze, visualize, respond, and integrate. So insights, as the name suggests, it just gives us an insight to the overall application. So it is not specific to application, as you can see. It can also be a Kubernetes container solution. It can be a virtual machine or even a monitoring solution. And analyze, as the name implies, is something which we can use for giving a metric analysis and log analytics. And we'll be seeing in detail what is log analytics in the session itself. And then we have an option to visualize. So visualization, as the name implies, it's just a way of visualizing or giving a kind of a repository where we can visualize what is happening in your application. And just having some kind of way of insight and visualizing is not at all enough. We need some way to or something to do with this data. So we have always an option for alerts and auto scaling. And the last but not least, it's the integration option where we can use the existing Azure resources like Logic Apps or APIs to make sure that we can integrate it with and take it up further to a next level. So before we begin, we'll just see what is metrics and logs. So metrics are numerical values, are anything that is a numerical value that describes some aspect of a system at a particular point in time. So the greatest example I could give you is a percentage CPU utilization time. So every organization, if you have a VM, there will be some kind of metrics to make sure that your utilization of the CPU is not beyond a particular threshold. So these kind of data usually comes under the metrics, while logs, as the name implies, is just a random collection of different kind of data organized into records with a different set of properties for each type. So I will just take a pause and I'll just quickly show you what is metrics and logs from Azure Monitor point of view. So this is an Azure monitoring platform, as you could see. So just to show you what I mean by metrics, I am just opening any one of my existing VMs. And as you could see, these are by default, Azure is providing some kind of CPU utilization, networking, disk out, disk operation, these kind of data in your home dashboard. So this is not specific, and we can these are like kind of a default value that is given by your Azure. But and these, as you can see, these are like some kind of values which is measured at this particular point in time. So as I said, these are the kind of data which we categorized as metrics, and they are very lightweight in application, and they are very useful when we're using for real-time debugging scenarios. And when we comes to logs, this is just a sample of how a log would look like. As you can see, I'm just querying the performance of all my existing VMs, and it is just dumping in a different kind of data like memory, available used memory. All these things are like dumped at specific instance or point of time. So it is quite difficult to get some kind of meaningful data from this kind of logs, but we make also a specific query known as Custo query, which we'll also be seeing in the session to bring out a usable logic out of these logs generated. So I'm just moving forward. So let's first begin with insights. So when we are discussing insight, I'll be only describing what is application insight, and other kind of insights are not under the scope at the moment. So for application insight, as this we can see, it is we install a small instrumentation package known as SDK in our application to enable application insights using application insight agent. The instrumentation which usually is installed monitors your app and directs the telemetry data to Azure in-app Insight application resources, which is this point. And so all the telemetry flows from these apps towards here, and this linking. So there must be some sort of link between your application and your application Insight, and it is usually happens through a random GUID ID, which in our term we call as instrumentation key. And once the application Insight has this data, so when I say about data, it is basically just telemetry logs. Then this Azure Insight engine will process these results and will create meaningful, useful information out of it, which we'll be seeing right now. So this is what an application insight can monitor. So this pretty much sums up what an application insight can do for your application. It can just monitor the request rates, response type, and failure rates. And using this, which you can find out which pages are the most popular and what time of the day and where your users are. Like this, there is a lot of practical application with these kind of data. And another very useful functionality is dependency rates, response rates, and failure rates. So what I mean by dependency rate is that suppose you have an application which is communicating to an SQL server or any third-party services, you will get a complete picture of what is happening and which all infrastructure is communicating to an application, and especially if any of these third-party application is weighing down your application. And the most important and the most commonly used thing is exception. So in case you have a good try-catch logic available within your code already, then we don't have to do anything. The catch itself will be exported as trace logs and it will be available for your application insights. And then we have the page view and load performance, Ajax call from web pages. And as you can see, I'm not going for each and every one. All these aspects of an application can be very easily monitored from an application insight, irrespective of. So when we say like it is an Azure monitoring, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are only going for a Windows VM and a .NET application or a .NET Core application. This has a capability to monitor a Linux server or a Windows VM, a Java application, anything you name it, it can be possible with application insight. So how can we use application insights for your application? There are basically two methods. One is known as built integration and usually referred to as a runtime monitoring. So as the name implies, it doesn't does anything fancy. It is a way of just making the application insight to be available to your application without any change in code or without any need to republish your application. And it is usually supported by the following. It supports an Azure VM, an app service, Azure Function AKS, and there is a current preview mode for Java micro standalone applications, but it is in preview mode, and I think it is not yet available for general preview. So yeah, but it is something which is expected to come in future. Another way of integration is what something is called as code-based or using SDK. So as the name implies, here we will have to actually install a micro app inside SDK, and it uses app incase SDK to create the telemetry from your application and it flows to your VM. So this requires a republishing of an app and it also requires modification in your code. So we'll just quickly see how we can do both from our application. So currently we'll first see the codeless approach. So currently I have an application which is, as you can see, that available in an app service, and it does nothing fancy. It just creates some data, it stores in an SQL server and retrieves and shows in this server. So how we can actually enable application insight for such an application? So if it is available in app service, it is very straightforward. All you need to do is go to your app service. There will be an application insight tab available. Click on that. Then you will get an option. Since I have already set up, you won't see that option, but you will see an option just like this. You can select an existing resource or you can create a new resource. Once it is properly mapped, all you need to do is just go with the recommended section and yeah, pretty much it, and then go for the apply option, and then this application insight will be available to your application, and within 2 or 3 minutes this application is ready to be used. And another approach of using this codeless monitoring is for a Azure VM, as we said before. So I'm going to one of my existing Azure VMs. Yeah, so I have currently a Windows VM which is set up, and in case you want to use application insight to this application, all you need to do is go to your extension and there is an agent called application monitoring for Windows. Just install that agent. As you can see, I have already installed this agent, and once it is successfully provisioned, your entire server is ready for application monitoring. So if you open this, you could see that yeah, it's not available yet. So while we are setting it up, we just have to give one data to this setup, and that is an instrumentation key which points to our app insight. So what I mean by the instrumentation key, as I said before, it is just this random GUID ID which is created when we create an app insight resource. So how we will map it to a specific application? So when we are going by this approach, what usually happens is once the agent is set up, it monitors all the available application which is currently hosted in your IaaS, irrespective of any application. So if you want to monitor a specific application and it is available on your any Azure VM, then you have to go for code monitoring, and codeless monitor will not work. It will be applicable for all your available websites in deployed in IaaS. And the last one and the last process which I mentioned is codeless approach. Sorry, code approach. So in suppose I have a kind of a .NET code application currently available here, and suppose you want to add your application inside or make it suitable for application inside. Again, it is pretty much easy. All you need to do is click on here and you will get an option. If you click on this add, you will get an option to include telemetry. Since it is already have done it, it won't be available. But once you click on the include telemetry, then it will connect directly to your existing Azure resources where you can select your app insight. You can set up everything, and once successfully it is been set up, these following packages will be installed onto your system. As you could see, the microstation application on agent, dependency collector, performance collector, trace listeners, a variety of application agents will be installed on your application. And what this basically does is it takes the telemetry from your application and sends it back to the application inside resource. And one of the main another thing I would like to showcase is once we add this thing, an application config file is also been created. So this is where mainly what we monitor, like what we need to install. Is suppose that you don't want dependency injection to be available to your application, you can just go and delete it as you require because it is no longer necessary. And in case you wish to register your application with a new instrumentation key or app insight in future, then there is an option available here where you can basically just change the key value. As you can see here, just change the key value with your new instrumentation key. Like I have given this key, and suppose in future, or if you're taking it to your production and you want it to map it to a new application insight key, just give the key and republish it, and it will be available to your application. And the last thing I would like to show here is how we can enable it for a Java application. So as I said before, this application insight or Azure Monitor in general is applicable for all the available resources. So suppose I have a Java application and I need to enable application insight. Again, it is pretty much easy. All I need to do is just add this dependency section, which basically installs this application insight as a web auto mode. So if you have any information with Java, this pom.xml is kind of a dependency similar to our packer.json file. And we can just add your dependency information here and it will be downloaded. And then this is kind of an XML file which is available in the documentation section. You can pretty much take this XML file and put it in the resources folder of your Java application, and yeah, just run it using Maven on whichever application you're doing, and then the insights will be available to your application insight. So this is how you can set up application insight on an application. So now let's see what application insight can actually monitor. So this is my application, as I said before, which is interacting with SQL. And this is the app insight which I have set up for that application. So as you can see, there is the first option I see is something known as application map. And this is a very useful features. And if we go to this in detail, you can see that your core application and what all dependency it is having. So it straight away shows that it is having a dependency with this SQL database. And if I can go into the details, and then it will show you the investigate the performance, the duration, and what all calls have been made. And basically we can just drill into the existing information, and in case like any transaction has gone wrong, all this information is available from this application map. And then another core infrastructure or application is smart detection. So smart detection is something which is purely based on machine language. So they have some kind, if you want to see, like if you go to settings, there is certain parameters which they are monitoring for this application, like slow server response time, slow page load time, all these things. So if any of these scenarios do comes up for your application, then an alert will be triggered, and this alert will come to your stakeholder saying that your application is not working as expected. And another very important feature and is live metric. So as you could see, you can see live what is happening to your application. And as I have seen personally, there is like 1 or 2 second lags, but and even 1 second is very rare. So as you could see, suppose I go here, I create a new function, and you can see, oops, sorry for that. Yeah, you can see in live that what is happening with your application. So this has kind of almost like a lot of performance monitoring or outgoing requests, overall health, and all this information as a live metrics. It's available just in your dashboard. And one of the another most important thing that we most commonly use is something we call as availability test. So previously you would have done this ping test, like where you like from the command you just ping to a specific server and it will wait for it to return some value. The availability test also works with the same principle. We can just use a URL ping test, give any URL, like in my case, I can give my application a URL itself, then give a frequency. You can test location. If you see, it can make sure it will test from any location you want. And then in case it is not available, an alert will be generated to the stakeholder. How we can set up alert, we'll also be seeing in this session. I'll explain to you in detail. One thing I would like to stress on this availability part is that this availability URL plain text will work only with the URL which has a public access, that is, which is available to be in internet. Suppose you have an application which is resting in your server, which is having an internal URL, we can never use this availability test. Then as you can see, there is a failure response. Like in case your server has failed anywhere, you can see the top 3 response code, top 3 exceptions. So I'm not going to go into each and everything in detail, but as it will say, like even the users and their location. Suppose I click on this users, if I click on the sessions, I could see like there have been 4 sessions with the past maybe 2 or 4 hours, and if we give on more insights, I can even see their country and region from this the sessions have activated. So all these things like this will give a complete report on your existing application, and without any monitoring tools or anything, all you need is a Azure subscription, and you can just make sure that your application is properly maintained. So I'm just going back to my slide. So I'm taking a hard pause here. Does anyone have any doubts or concerns regarding application insights yet? I'll take it as no. I'll just move forward. So next we'll see about that inside section of the application. So as we just now saw before, there is something called as Azure monitoring logs. So logs in general are something which contain different kinds of data organized in the record with a different set of properties for each type. And every Azure monitoring log which is being created is stored in a central repository, which is known as Log Analytic Workspace. So Log Analytic Workspace is kind of a central repository where we can use to store all these logs and process them for a better results. And log data from uses the same engine as a log analytic engine as workspaces, but it is stored separately for each monitor data. So what it means by that is application insights also have logs, but these logs are kept separate from the log analytic workspace logs. And in case we want to query these two logs, there is cross-referencing options available. And we can usually retrieve this data from this log analytic workspace by using a language known as Query, which we'll see how we can do just now. So these are some of the sources of Azure monitoring logs. As you can see, it gets data from Azure resources, it gets data from virtual machines, it gets data from application, insights, custom, and whatever resources you name it, you will get data and it can be processed. So how can we enable the platform to send these logs? So again, as I said, this is not just specific to an Azure application or Azure cloud environment. We can use it for Azure VMs at the same time for our physical Linux and Windows machine. So I'll just show you how we can set up a log analytic workspace in your existing Azure subscription. So I have created a resource known as log analytic workspace. This is what is log analytics workspace. We can just go and create from it, add a resource and add a log analytics workspace. And then what there is a connect to a data source option available. We can connect to an Azure existing machine or Windows, Linux, and other resources. So I don't have a physical machine, but I'll show you how you can connect to a physical Windows or Linux server in case you have any. So as you could see, I have currently connected one of my Windows computer and two of my Linux computer to this. And if you scroll down, you will get the workspace ID, you will get some primary key, and then you will get a get command. So this command is specific for a Ubuntu server. As you can see, it's a wget command. So if you run this command from your machine, then it will download the extension that is required for this log analytic workspace, and it makes sure that the logs are sent to your log analytic workspace. Similarly for a Windows server. So all you need to do is just come here, get this. In case of a Windows machine, you need to download this OMS gateway. For Linux servers, all we need to is just get this command and run it in your system. So how we can export the data? So by default, there are no data which is usually available. So in case you want to make sure that some of the data are being exported, then you have to come to this data tab, go to Windows or Linux performance counter, and then you can basically select what all you need to be monitored. As you could see, there are processing time, privilege time, logical use space, like everything is specific to our infrastructure that need to be and can be monitored is available here. All you need to do is select these things and save your settings, and then these data will be available to your log analytics workspace as logs we saw just now. And another interesting feature of this is something we know as custom fields, sorry, custom logs. So every application which is running on premises will be having custom logs which we are monitoring all the time. So in case you want to add any kind of a custom log also to the log analytic workspace, it is pretty much easy. So as you can see, I have just added a sample authentication log from one of my Linux machine. You can see that I have just given the path name, path type, and I have just saved it. So next time your system communicates with the log analytic workspace, this custom log data will be available in your log analytic workspace, and you can just query it as and when required. So now as you can see, if I go to my logs, there are so many logs which I could make use of. Like there is a system log, performance, heartbeat. What do you mean by heartbeat? If you want, I can just show you. Heartbeat is nothing but availability of your server. So I have 3 servers available, and if I just run a heartbeat command, I can see the last from the last time generated. I can make sure that when was the last time my Linux VM or my Windows VM was available. So likewise, we have a lot of logs, but it is very difficult to bring out any kind of meaningful data from this. For this, we'll use a language which is popularly known as Kusto query or log analytics queries. So a Kusto query is a kind of a read-only request to process the data and return result. The request is started in a plain text using a data flow model designed to make sure that the syntax is easy to read, author, and automate. The query uses schemas and entities. So in case you have worked with SQL database, you must be knowing what is a schema and what is a database. So database schema is kind of what you can say are organized in hierarchical similar to SQL. And the schema is a collection of tables grouped under logical category. Like suppose you have something which is related to a CPU memory utilization, then that will come under a specific schema, or anything that is related to logical disk will be grouped under a logical disk schema. Likewise, it is grouped as such, and we can just use Kusto query to retrieve data from that. And the query output can be very easily exported to a dashboard or used to set up a custom alert, which we'll be seeing pretty soon. So I'll just show you how we can run a Kusto query. So I have here a certain saved queries. So what I'm going to show is I'll just show you the final result first. So I have a query written, and if I run it, I'm getting all the available computers, all their instance name and their free megabyte, their percentage free space, percentage use space, and total free megabytes on computer. And these kind of anything and everything related to the used space and memory space and everything of my connected systems I'm bringing out here. So how we can do such a thing? So just for understanding, I have broken down it into 3 separate queries. As you can see, there is this. What this query does is I'm just querying the performance table where the time generated was 1 day ago. This is just to make sure the logs come as we need. Then we use a counter name as percentage free space. This is just a variable which is having a name as percentage free space. And then I am using some summarize operation project. And this what this project does is this is just the field that we need to show into the final table. And I'm then just using the final table. So if I run this query, you can see in the output that it gives the instance name and the percentage of free space available for this particular system. Then I have created another table which does nothing, but it gives total free space available in the table. Then I have a used free space available in the table. So we have three separate table with C separate data. Then what I have done in the final merged query is I have taken all these three tables and I have just joined. This is an inner join. So in case you have worked with SQL queries, you will be quite aware of what is the inner join. So I'm just inner join. Don't bother about the logic. This is just a kind of a example. What I'm trying to tell you is that all these things we can just querying using a very simple query known as Custo query, and we can just bring out a final answer just like this, and it will bring a final table as you can see together. And so I know it is not easy to understand in first go, but there is a very pretty good documentation available in Azure documentation site. You can just go and learn what is Custo query, and there are a lot of samples. You can just make yourself it to bring out meaningful data from the log analytics which is being created. So going forward, so before we move forward to alerts and everything, I need to say or throw light on one particular thing. Like we just now we were talking about on-premise infrastructure. So in most of the organization, you will be having some kind of on-prem infrastructure where there will be, or in most cases, there won't be outbound connectivity to internet. So what will happen in such a case? Like will we be able to get our Azure monitoring logs or log analytic logs from such a setup to our Azure monitor? The answer is no, mainly because there is no outbound connectivity, and Azure Monitor or Azure is actually sitting on a public cloud, and it always needs some kind of way to communicate with your infrastructure to get the data from infrastructure to the public cloud. So the recommended way is to just if you have a networking concept or networking ideas, you have to can create a NSG rule to give outbound connectivity to the service tag Azure monitoring. But by the at the end and at the back end, it is just opening your port 80 and 443 for HTTP and HTTPS outbound. Another suggested or the perfect way to do this will be to use a public load balancer. Put any of the VMs or anything you have behind the public load balancer, and then make sure that you can connect the public IP to your Azure monitor so that the logs can reach your Azure. So end of the line, what I like to say is that please make sure that you have a system where there is outbound connectivity so that the agents which is currently on your Windows VM or a Linux agent or whichever infrastructure it may be can sense this data to our Azure and it can be processed. So by saying that, we'll just move on to the next section, which is called as alerts. So this is what alerts are. So as you could see, alerts are something, as the name suggests, something which we can use proactively to notify you when important conditions are found in your monitoring data. So if for creating an alert, these are the three separate individual components. First, you need to create an alert rule, which will have a target resource. So target resource, by target resource, I mean any Azure resources which you can connect. Like say, for example, I connect to my VM, then we have to configure the signal. So what I mean by the signal is that any metric log or log analytic log, which we can make use of to and give a kind of a threshold. Suppose that, for example, say for example, I need to create an alert when the CPU threshold or the CPU utilization is more than 70%. Then we'll first connect to that VM, then select the CM as CPU utilization, and then we'll just set a threshold to trigger the alert. So that is an alert rule. Then next thing we need to create is we need to create an action group or an alert group. So we'll assign this alert rule to an alert group so that that group can decide what it needs to be done. So this is pretty much how an alert works. So let me just show you how we can very quickly create an alert from our Azure monitor. So we can go to our monitor. If you go to monitor here, there is an option called setup alert and actions. Go to create alert. As I said, first select your resource. It could be anything. For to be easy, I'm just selecting my Visual Studio subscription and I'm selecting my existing VM. virtual machines and I just select my Windows virtual machine and done. Now the next thing is to give a condition. So this is where I set the signaling comes. So I can select this percentage CPU, which is the signal type of metric. Or if I want, I can go and select any of the custom queries if I have any written for this specific VM to be used. But by the way, at the end, these are all configured as signal and I could just select anything. So I'll just select the percentage CPU and there it is. And then I can give an average value of anything. The usual standard is by giving 70. And then you can say like what is aggregation and what frequency this evaluation should happen. So you can set depending on your convenience and whichever way you want, you can just create the aggregation and frequency and then just create on done. So the condition is done. So then the last and final thing is creating an action group. So in my case, as you can see, I have one action group. So in case you want to create a new action group, you could go here, give a name, short name, everything. The most important thing happens here. This is action type. This is what decides what we'll do once an alert is generated. So Azure by default has given a lot of new options for you to deal with, like an Azure writing an automation runbook, or writing an Azure function, or the basic SMS, emailing. All these scenarios are available depending on your use cases and depending on your requirement. You could select whatever you want. Suppose you have a VM which triggers an alert when your VM is getting switched off, then you can just select an Azure runbook. If I select an Azure runbook, then I have this custom runbook like a restart a VM, stop a VM, scale a VM, whatever we want. So suppose if I give a restart VM, select the subscription and do everything, then once your VM is shut down and the alert is generated, your alert group itself will make sure that your VM is restarted. So like this way, you could create your own alert groups for your custom alerts and make sure that the system is always sanity, like the system sanity is always under check. So this is what it comes to alerts, and we can create the alerts for the availability. If you remember, for application insight, we did deal with something called as availability. So if you want, we can just go with that availability and make sure that it is around works as expected. So now we have seen how we can analyze and visual analyze and respond to that data which we receive from our application. Now it's the last part is like what we can do with the visualization. So our visualization, we basically have two approaches. One is something we call as a workbook. So workbooks are basically interactive documents that provide deep insights into your data for investigation and collaboration within the team. So one of the specific example where Workula used are troubleshooting some kind of a guide or a incident issues or something. So they have the ability to support both metrics and logs, and it is very much and very suitable to be used along with the long analytic queries. I'll just show you how to create a workbook quickly, and it provides a very good document-like flow. And as you could see, the UI is very beautiful, and it can be made and we can even add our custom variables for our own purposes. But one of the main drawbacks of using a workbook is the fact that it doesn't comes along with the auto refresh. So you have to set your own time period within the query, and that will be always taken care, and it will never do an auto refresh. So this workbook cannot be used or cannot be replaced with a dashboard, but this workbook can be used to give a what it can say kind of a deep insight into your application. And we once we create a workbook, we can share the workbook with any subscription as a read only mode. So suppose if you have a workbook, then you can just share it with another person and the person can just go through your data workbooks. So we'll quickly see how we can actually set up a workbook. So there are different ways how we can do it. The easiest way is to again go to your log analytics insight, and there you can see a workbook option available. So there are a lot of default workbooks like designer guides or agent health, workspace usage, all these scenarios available. But for the time being, we can just go with this default option available. So I have two workspaces created. I'll just quickly show you what it does. So as you could see, I have created a VM health check workbook, I created a process and space utilization workbook and a file system usage workbook. So you see that in this workbook, it is modifying or monitoring all our existing computers. It is checking the free mega spaces that are the time generated, percentage free space, percentage use space, total free space, all these scenarios. So how we can actually create one, it's quite easy, not that easy, but yes, this is again, we have to go back to our Kusto query. As I showed you before, we can still write the Kusto queries to make sure that you get a logical output from the existing logs. And once you have it, below you can see the visualization or the table that is being created as an output of this Kusto query. So then if you want to add any kind of what is a kind of this kind of visualization instinct, then we can just basically go here and add them here. Like you can go to the column setting, and then you can do what all you want. Like if you want to change the label or if you want to give any kind of a look and feel as I have done here, all these things could be very easily be done. And and can be, once you're done with editing, you can just click on done editing and it will be available for use. So this is a very useful tool, and suppose this is especially useful if we are using a DevOps pattern. Suppose you are using or desire to use your monitoring completely for DevOps. So in such cases, you can just make sure that you have a workbook scenario available so that it can be shared along with the pipeline scenario so that it gives a more control over application within your stakeholder and especially for the developers. And another common visualization which we usually see is dashboards. So everyone is aware of dashboards. Dashboards is one of the most important part of you can say Azure. So dashboard is, as you can see, is kind of a interactive. It gives kind of an interactive application. We can do whatever we want to do with the dashboard. Like you can have your metric alerts for your application, or you can add your security information, whatever you want. You design it for your need, and you can just show it. So as we have seen now, we have an application inside. We have a log analytic workspace. We have alerts. We have metric alerts, and we have hell a lot of other kind of things available for an application and infrastructure. So we can just create a chart, or you can just create a report, and you can just on a click add it to your dashboard and be available for everyone. So I'll just show you how you can create a dashboard too very quickly. So this is one of the custom dashboard I have created. So as you could see, I have added the network in and out for one of my Linux VM2. At the same time, if you remember, the Kusto query I wrote for my log analytic workspace is also available in this dashboard. And in case you want to add more and more resources, all you need to do is just drag and drop here. So, or if you want to, so as a, for example, if you want to edit the dashboard, just go to edit section. In case you want to add any, what to say, metric chart. If you want to add any kind of a metric chart, you just go on, click on add, and then you just go on edit it. Looks like it's not working from here. I'll just show you. Yeah, suppose you have to make sure that this is added to your dashboard. It is quite easy. All you need to do is just click on this button and it will be available on your dashboard, and then you can just view your dashboard, and what I just added from that area is available here. So like this way, this is just a very simple explanation. As I saw in this slide, you can make this as beautiful as possible and as informative as possible as you need. So that is what is with dashboards. So just to sum up the things, these are some of the very commonly frequently asked questions regarding monitoring that I have come across. So we'll just go through these things so that in case you start working and you come across anything in future, then it could be kind of useful. So the first thing will be like, what happens if my server is set up for cordless configuration, but I add SDK for another application? What it means is that if you remember, there is two way of using application inside for an application. First thing is that you can use by codeless way, another way is that you can by using code. So suppose you have a Kotlin configured for an application and at the same time you use code for another application, what have the precedence? So what the answer to that will be that if you are use code in for application inside in one of your application, then code will always have the precedence and it will always come across the called as application inside approach. And if you can look at the second question, app insights are usually stored in the same place. It is stored at log and it is stored as logs in a not in log analytic workspace, but they are a separate engine which is not accessible to developers, but it is stored within the Azure monitoring tool and it has a retention policy of 2 years and it is having complete encryption during rest and during transit. So there is no reason to worry about your data or your sensitive data being stored in your application inside. And if you look at the fourth question, this is kind of a very important question. Suppose you have an application which was connected to an application inside in Azure, and all of a sudden your outbound connectivity went or and something happened. What will happen during that period? Will an application monitoring will be available for your application? The answer is yes. All the agents which we use in our on-premise environment will store this application telemetry in your file system and it will try in every 5 minutes to communicate again with your application inside to make sure that the data is being transferred there. And even after 30 minutes, if it couldn't do, then it wait for another day or till its storage space get exhausted, then it will never happen. Then it will be stored in that location and that period of a time during which your application was not available, then the telemetry data won't be available. But I don't think in a production server 30 minutes of unavailability in a server will never happen. So most of the time, you can say that almost 90% of the time, even if there is a cutover period of 1 or 2 or 3 minutes, your application telemetry will come to your application inside the source without any problems. And these are another some of the frequently asked question for log analytic workspace. One of them will be like, what is the difference between a diagnostic extension and log analytic agents? So if you have worked with Azure VMs, there is an option known as diagnostics option available along with the VMs. So the core difference between these two is that the diagnostic monitoring usually store data in a storage account and it is pretty much not used by any of the developer. It is usually used internally by Azure to make sure, and if you to give you some kind of advisor. There is an Azure advisor which usually tells you that the best way to monitor or keep your VM as required, and this data is usually stored in Dynatrace extension. And another one of the main thing I question usually clients have is regarding that confidentiality of data. Like we are tracing or we are exporting data of your application or your infrastructure to a cloud. So how secure is this data? So Microsoft has given like 99% compliance and none of your sensitive data by default will be exported to public. But since if you're using an application inside with code, then you can of course give your own trace data to be exported along with the code. In such cases, it is always advised to make sure that your system or your application does not export any kind of sensitive data towards the cloud to make sure that your application is secure. And if you ask like whether you can move a log analytic workspace to another subscription, yes, it is possible. Suppose you have a log analytic workspace for a subscription and you want to move it to another subscription, it is very easy. But please be aware that you cannot move it from one region to another region, and it is the most advised option is always to keep one log analytic workspace for an entire subscription. Like don't create, or it is not advised to create more than one log analytic space within a subscription because it is not useful. Like all the data at the end of the day has to come to a central location, then only we can use our Choreo to make sure that they work as expected. So that's up from my end. Let me just check if anyone have any doubts posted. Yeah. So as you could see, we have come to end of our session. So we'll just have a quick summary on what all things have happened. So we had a Azure monitoring overview. We saw an insight using our app insights. We analyzed the existing resource using log analytic workspace and we visualized it using dashboard and we responded using alerts. So before we wrap up, again, thanks a lot for our sponsors who making this happen. And there are some of the URLs for you guys to, in case you are interested in any of the charity relief fund, and all the 10% of the money is going to sponsor for community relief funds. And there is also a raffle competition currently going on. And in case, I don't know whether this slide will be shared with you or not, but in case you guys are aware about that, please do participate. Yeah, and yeah, that's all from my end. Thank you